And hello.
Hi.
Hey. Um, as mentioned somewhere in the VODs, we mentioned that we wanted to do a little introduction for those watching as to who the characters are, and maybe get an insight into what happened before the campaign. So, if you've been following along, these four adventurers started their advent in the campaign setting of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. We went through the campaign, and they basically convinced me to move this to the rest of the campaign with the same characters to YouTube. So now that we've started Tomb of Annihilation, we got to realize that you guys have no idea who these people are or what their backgrounds are, and so
Yeah.
this is the first of a couple of interviews exploring who the characters are, um, how were the characters come up with, notable events during the Waterdeep campaign, things that they would like to have explored during the Tomb of Annihilation campaign, and maybe a couple of spoilers, things that the rest of the party do not know about the characters. So let's jump in directly. So I would say, who is Heinrich Jr. Thunderstaff?
Well, Heinrich Jr. Thunderstaff is still a young mage that has been protected by his parents and had actually quite comfortable life actually.
He's a
And
noble.
he's from nobility indeed, and I think one moment he just decided like, hey, time is actually something that we can grasp in our hands and start to study time magic. So in a way, he's a time wizard.
Yeah. So the subclass is chronologer, from taken from Matt Mercer's Beautiful Brain. So if you don't, anyway, um, yeah. So we have no idea really how balanced this class is with regards to.
For my personal experience with the class itself is that there are certain high level spells that really stick to the chronomancer class itself. But by adding flavor that you also did well, you can actually flavor it so you have all the time, you have a little evolution of, oh, you can hold someone with time now, oh, you can haste someone with time. And I'm very curious. I know that we're gonna be high level at the moment, but at that moment I think I will be very curious to test some high level chronomancy magic and see what damage and wow moments I will have with the party, of course.
Mhm. Yeah, but we'll get into that later. So what else can you tell us about him as a person?
Hmm. I I think I saw him someone who was also very naive. Naive who read adventuring from books and saw theater pieces and actually had a rude wake up call actually. And every time for him I see him actually as a sort of a time ticking bomb because every time he has certain values put on him thanks to the family, and every time hard life goes back and actually says like, no, what you're thinking is actually not good or stupid or stop, no. And every time he wants to be respected as his family, but
Mm-hmm.
due the problems with mages politic in Waterdeep, they underestimate him, and that's actually a big frustration because he knows he can do much, but when people underestimate him, it actually ticks him off and will get him angry. But he learned as a mage to be calm and to be peaceful and try to solve with logic and intelligence, but sometimes he just wants to throw a fireball and be happy with it.
Yeah, like in the Temple of Sune.
I will have my revenge. In any way, I will have my revenge, even if I need to use this guy's self and enter there and be like, hey, this is what you're missing, and then go away like you're not worthy of my time.
Hmm. You can certainly try.
Ah, with pleasure, with pleasure.
Cool. So how did so all that year ago now, since we've been playing for over a year, a little bit over a year now. How did Heinrich Thunderstaff come about?
That was actually a very long time I thought about it because first I love wizards as a class itself because it has a beautiful logic to it in my mind. And Heinrich itself, I I always found it funny, like the classical dark and grim stories about my parents got killed and now I'm on the road of vengeance. And
Yeah, the
I
orphan trope.
the orphan trope, yes. And I actually wanted to create something that actually was he has a happy life, but do society and hard life of adventuring is actually forging him into being a better man or transforming him. And of course, I wanted to make a mix, of course, putting some pieces of myself in it, but also making between a comical relief and also someone who is going to be calculated
Mm.
killer when he needs to be.
It was, yeah, it was something interesting. I don't think it's something that you can do in a lot of campaigns, which is um, Waterdeep Dragon Heist is an urban campaign and it's set around one single area, which means
Mhm.
the moment you said, "Oh no, he has a family," I went, "Oh, what
Ah,
are their
that's fun.
names? How did?" And I remember we were having quite a bit of fun trying you telling me, no, actually, me telling you, okay, I want to know who your parents are. I want to know who your sister is, and uh, and you telling me, okay, but this is something that I don't want to know about. There are still secrets within your family. You've started to unravel them.
Ah,
You
I
started to
want to
unravel them.
know. I want to know.
um and it's there are what I really enjoyed is the fact that you built your character around those mysteries. There's that feature that you took at fourth level, Fate Touched,
Yeah,
which we kind of yeah, I mean, we had it organized, right? It was the idea that
yeah, of course.
you knew without really knowing what your character doesn't know what you as a player know with regards to certain
And
aspects.
that's actually interesting because there are many feats that I would take as a D&D player more like uh, I saw it more as story-wise feat. And that was actually quite exciting also because it was my first time I took that.
Hmm.
And when you play it out and it comes that naturally, you're actually quite happy and you're pleased like yes, this is going good. This is a good flow of roleplay and of intelligent of interesting gameplay.
um so with regard to so yeah, you chose and chronology, so this was a character that you had in the works way before I offered you the I invited you to the campaign.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because time itself, as me as Yannick, I always found interesting.
Hmm.
And I said against myself way before even Matthew Mercer had created a character. I said against myself, it would be amazing to create um, a wizard that can actually manipulate time
Oh,
as the flow of arcana. And
with
when you said
yeah.
hey, do you want to play? I was like, yes, I have an idea.
Yeah. By the way, no probable spoilers for the end of Critical Role's campaign too. But time magic doesn't heal everything, can't do everything, and quite often can create more chaos than it's worth.
Hey, he
Um,
doesn't know that.
no,
He's
that
still
is true.
studying.
Oh, the fact that you were as a player and a character ready to trade forbidden well, no, not forbidden, a new type of magic with an old wizard just to get a discount on scrolls showed me that Heinrich is completely irresponsible with that
Yep,
power.
yep, and that was actually on total purpose,
Yeah.
and that was actually very funny to do
Had
that
we,
also.
by the way, I did at the moment take a note of which spells you were sharing, and the idea was, had we continued in Waterdeep long enough, for example, for other campaign homebrew, if we had done Dungeon of the
Mhm.
Mad Mage, those spells would have started popping up.
I would
Those
be quite
spells
honored.
would have been started popping up and probably used against you in some shape or form. You would have seen the consequences. Nobel creating dynamite all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean.
So you're in the jungle. You're free to do whatever you want with regards to that. So that is, and I have to admire a wizard who does not take fireball at level 5. So
It's hard. It's very hard.
fair enough.
But if I find it, I will unleash hell on that jungle.
Fair enough. Um, Going back to Waterdeep, if there was one notable event that happened, what would it
Hmm.
be? What stands in your mind? Because we had, I mean, we almost played a full year up to level 5. You guys took a long
True,
time to get
true,
through that
true.
venture. Um,
Um, well, there was one that actually started to define my character in a way.
okay.
Was during the chase. He,
Oh yes.
we were running, and well, to do a reference to one of the players, white man can jump.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Um, there was a moment that one of the other players, Sorsha, got shot,
Hmm.
and he had a chance to follow the famous item and or
Yeah.
save the
Let's put it
friends.
this way. By the way, we will be discussing in this possibility. There may be spoilers for I think we played it was the spring, no, sorry, autumn, so the fall version
Yeah,
of the campaign. If you have not picked up Dragon Heist, it is one of the best campaigns there is there out there.
true
And
that, true
it's
that.
replayable because you actually have 4 different campaigns within the according to the season that you choose. So we played the fall with you guys. So yes, there
And
is a chase scene. You're running after the MacGuffin. Um, Sorsha gets basically one shot. It
yeah,
was a critical. Was it a? I think it was a critical shot to the
it was a critical
guts.
hit. Yeah.
Critical hit, and all of her hit points went from maximum to 0 in one shot. And you had the choice of either letting the guys get away or jumping down to save her.
And well, yeah, I saved her life because
Yeah.
it's that rude awakening for him. Like, yes, you can be an adventurer, but in the end, the adventure is not alone. It's
Mm-hmm.
with the people who walk with you in the end. And that choice that he made was like, I am ready to trust you guys. Let's do this. And that's why he rushed to the help of Sorsha also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was that moment as a GM. I was looking. I saw the fulcrum. I saw the pivotal point as to, are you gonna go? I mean, you could maybe trust. I remember the questions that you were asking. Said, are there people looking after her? Can you see? Yeah, is there somebody that I recognize that might have some confidence? Is there a temple? Is there a cleric? Somebody is looking in on her.
Through
And
that,
I
through
kept
that.
saying, you can't notice the crowd's too thick, or people are saying you can't notice, because I wanted that choice for you. I did not want to make it easy for you.
That was very well done because in the end, it's that what I like also in the DMing style that you do also is that you give free reins, but there are moments where you clasp your hand and you say like, no, 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 you're at the twin section of a road.
Mhm.
Go ahead, make a choice, but think very well, young one.
It's well, no, the way that I'm not going to make you if I'm going to put you a choice, I'm not going to. If I wanted to, I could have said, you see a cleric, rush to her aid, keep running.
Mhm.
And that would have actually meant that you were running alone and you ended up up against alone with two very dangerous individuals.
True that. True
Um,
that.
and I wanted to give you that option. But the I wanted your choice to be yours and for the consequences to be visible.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the had you come back with the group with the MacGuffin and said, "Hey guys, look, I've got it." And I wanted to see if you had done that, I would have loved to see the faces on Rune, Damon, and Gale to saying, "Where's Sorsha? What happened?
Yeah.
Was it worth it?" It's I know it's something that I can play with you. There's a lot of my players in other tables where I no, they're not gonna like that because it's too much pressure. You played it well, and
Well,
and I can honestly say that I did not know Heinrich enough to know what he was going to do. He could have chased. You could have
well,
decided to go. Okay, this is no longer a recovery mission. This is a destruction. I'm going to kill these people.
oh, but the thing is that I love to give a base to you as Heinrich himself, but I like to even for you and the other players, I like to give little stones, like one by one.
Yeah.
Like even in the jungle episodes, there are many facets of him that I'm trying to show little by little by little. And I hope that it will be interesting to play around with.
Hmm. Interesting segue. Um, and if you guys at home want to ask questions, just put them in the comments. We'll see them. We'll read them. What is one thing that you would like to have explored during the jungle campaign, during the Tomb of Annihilation?
Uh, I think coming to terms with his role as a wizard,
How do you
and
mean?
also um, well, as being conscripted as a wizard for Waterdeep, it's lots of responsibility, but also um, it's gonna define him as a person. Also, like, okay, I have this task. What do I want in my further life also? Do I want to go fully on this? Do I want to get married and have a family like in the Thunderstaff mansion? Do I want to become a teacher? And these are things that are going in his mind at the same time while saving the world at the same time. And also, I want to explore Fey magic because
Yeah.
he's starting to get obsessed by it slowly and nicely.
Uh, Fey magic, yeah. Fairy in a general is not something you want to get obsessed by.
What?
In general, if Shakespeare has taught me anything, is that the courts of fairy are not something to look into too deeply. You do not come out
My
of there alive or in the same shape you went in.
my family starts to reek of fey magic,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he's like, "Mm, I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, there are things there are a couple of things that I've kept hidden from you. I mean, we for all we know, we might not be able to explore it, but
And that's the fun part
yeah.
in the end
There
also.
might be, I mean, let's face it, maybe at the end of this campaign, at the end of the characters before we move to another one, we might have a Q&A session about what are the mysteries that were not yet uncovered.
That
And
that would be
I
cool.
think Heinrich's family, there are definitely some secrets that I have up here uh,
Good, good.
that yeah, as to why and how and who,
That's good
definitely.
to know.
Um, but I mean, you started to put some pieces together.
Yeah, there are some
Uh,
pieces I'm starting to get together, and I love him for now also because he's like multitasking. Like, I want to know, but I need resources for that. But I'm in a jungle saving the world. So in the middle, it comes together like crap. I don't have time for this for now.
yeah, fair enough. Speaking of secrets, so we're part of that. So
Uh,
we're coming to the spoiler part. So if any of you of other my players are watching this, and I who knows, maybe you'd want to, this is where you shut off. This is where you shut the video. This is where you share it to your friends, and you do not look any further. So the
You be
spoiler
warned.
the spoiler question, yeah, is it what is one thing um, that the party does not know about Heinrich?
He wants to use time magic at such a control that there are certain points in Waterdeep he wants to change completely. That he disturbs him so much that he wants to change it to be, and also, for example, the burned down docks
Yeah.
where we went to find the other draw for getting the MacGuffin back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was very frustrated that Waterdeep was not doing something about it, and the question he asked himself was like, "What if?" And like, what if the fire would have been stopped? What if the precautions would have been done? It would be
Right.
a better neighborhood. Waterdeep would have flourished also
Yeah.
further.
Yeah. So for those who have not who do not necessarily know what you're talking about, there is one quarter of at the west of Waterdeep, which is called Mistshore, which is in a, plays a part in the adventure, and it is a rundown sort of shanty town place built on a fire that happened about 20 years beforehand, and sort of cleared out most of it, and so there's been a sort of a shanty town created in its place. Um, I do have plans. I know exactly where you're going with this. I do have things running in my mind with regards to that. There is going to be some surprises when you guys come back to Waterdeep.
Oh,
Um,
I'll be glad to see it.
and so yes, it I do have plans within. I know that Heinrich was looking into that. I know that Gail was looking into that as well.
Yeah,
And so I do have plans in that measure with regards to, as in, well, you've you've given favor to a few powerful people who owe you one, and so there might be something in store with regards to that.
I think one of the other secrets that I have is that, and that's something that you know probably, is that one of his goals is also one day to prepare to travel to the Feywild,
Yes, yes, we have
because
spoken about that. Yeah.
he wants to go, because with the little breadcrumbs you have been given, he wants to actually prepare himself for it and then go in, find the answers that he wants, and then go out. But he knows that time works in another way in the Feywild. But what if a chronomancer goes into Feywild and can turn it around?
Yes, in time in the in fairy is very very different. So what happens when you bring in mortal time into the mix? Is it going to
And
be oil? Is it oil and water?
that's something I want to test.
Yeah.
And
I as so we'll see how we are when we finish this part of the campaign.
of
If
course,
maybe one shots with regards to, I mean, there is the Feywilds book that's going to be coming out soon enough. Who knows? Maybe I might get inspiration for a one shot with revisiting these characters.
that
Um,
would be so funny.
but I would love, that is definitely something that I would love to see someone like Matt Mercer explore. If there's
Oh,
you
true
know,
that,
a
true that.
chrono mage in his Feywilds, and how that would react. But yeah.
I I think one of the last things that I also have as a secret for him personally is that, well, he has a boon for someone that is starting to develop very slowly, but also that one of the secrets is that he, in his head, there is a deep wish in his heart that he wants to break down the system of mediocrity that there is for the moment, and he wants to change it for the better. For
Oh, so you're going for that black staff,
that's why there was a moment when, for example, Vroon was touching
the
the
black.
staff. He was first mortified. He
Uh-huh.
was angry, jealous, and he was like, "Oh, if I only had the staff, what wonders I could do for the society."
Yeah, I was when that moment came. Then there was that possibility. Had you taken up the staff, you would have been in for a wild surprise.
Ah, I would love that
As
so much.
in, not the idea of. I don't know. Actually, did you? No, I think you never had the Rune never had the black staff in hand.
He touched it. He touched it for a moment. He touched it
Uh,
for a moment
did he?
during in the bar, second floor,
Uh huh.
first floor. We were talking, and he was like, "Are you sure that you are the black
Oh,
staff?"
right. Yes.
And
Yes,
then
that's proof. Yeah.
the staff came, and there were multiple voices in his head, and I was like, "Ah, no, he touched it!" Ah!
Oh yeah. Yeah, but the idea is had you touched it, I would have probably ended the session there and given myself a week to think about the consequences.
Oh man, I would have loved it. Like, yeah, stop. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
what?
That would have
No.
been that would have been one of those moments where I'm going, okay, shit has hit the fan, and the fan has now been turned on. Because I mean, this is not a spoiler. The Black Staff is an incredibly powerful artifact.
Well,
Um,
apparently.
it's um, it's not necessarily a spoiler because for I mean for the player or even for the character. The it is said that the Black Staff chooses its wielder,
Mhm.
and which means a lot of mages are saying, yeah, that's not exactly true. I can assure you, the Black Staff has very much a personality. It chooses its members very carefully, and there's a reason why the current Black Staff issue is who she is,
Okay.
um, as opposed to all of these old foggers and spell slingers that are saying, no, but this should be my right. I have been working for the city of Waterdeep for 150 years. Why is this whippersnapper taking my place? This is due to me. This is my inheritance. This is my legacy, my destiny. No, no, boy. The staff has
And
judged
that's
you
why I want to
unworthy.
change, and that's why I want to change
Yeah.
the wizard society to be better. That if you have been chosen by the black staff, you don't doubt about it. You just say yes, it has been chosen. Shut up.
Yeah. There's a couple of big artifacts like that. The axe as well. Is
Ah,
is a
yes, yes, yes.
very much along the same vein as it chooses its champion. It is a there's a couple of Igaron when he create I think that's how it's pronounced when he created Waterdeep he
Mhm.
said a couple of there's a couple of artifacts that are there specifically to protect the city. The Blackstaff is one. The axe Azure Edge is definitely another. Um,
Such
and
beautiful
yeah,
items.
which again, that was Rune taking it, and I love the fact that that Rune Damon, the truly the strangest one of the bunch, the most foreign of the bunch, is the one touching all of the sacred artifacts, including the dragon staff.
I'm not jealous at all. I love Rundaman so much, but he's such a lucky Loxodon.
He is a luck beast.
Yes, I see that.
For better or for worse.
Ah,
Okay.
indeed.
On that note, thank you, Yannick,
Well, thank you
for
to
a
you
little bit
for
of
giving
insight.
the opportunity.
As I mentioned, if there's any questions with regards to those who are watching here, if you want to post questions in the comments, we'll certainly answer them as far as we can. Who knows? We might do another one of these later down the line to see how we're doing with regards to the campaign. Definitely would like to do one sort of a wrap up at the end of Tomb of Annihilation,
Would be nice.
and then because after Tomb of Annihilation, we're not done yet. There are plans in the
Oh,
works for, well, there's a few bigger threads that need to be closed off.
goody, 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 goody,
But
goody.
that
Yes.
is a story for another time. So, in the meanwhile, thank you for watching, and see you when we meet again.
Bye.